Hi you guys, welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be talking about wedding dresses. Dun 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 dun! This is such an exciting topic. I am so happy that I finally get to sit down to talk to you guys about wedding dresses. If you follow me on my Instagram, you would already know, if you remember, that I had promised a video on this topic quite a while ago. And I think that this is going to be very interesting. I wanted to do something where it can be very helpful for one of you if you are a bride or if you are a bride to be. I feel like this is the video to watch, and hopefully I get to answer some of the questions or some of the things that you may be having doubts or curious about. There was a lot of mystery out there, a lot of things I found out once I was in the process of looking for my own gown when I was a bride. I mean, I was pretty much the first one out of my friends to get married, and so I didn't know who to go to ask what it was like. So with that said, I just want to let you guys know that I will be talking about what no one told me that I found out. I'll be giving you guys some tips and some suggestions. Wedding is a super big deal, whether it's something big or something small. It's still such a memorable day, and so I know the feeling. I know what it's like to be a bride, to plan, to start looking for things, and of course, the stress. But before all of that, I want you to just take a deep breath and just relax. And my number one suggestion is to just enjoy the whole process. Time is seriously just going to fly by. You got this. I promise you, your day is going to be super special. And although not everything is going to be as perfect, believe me, it's all going to turn out just wonderful. So tip number one that I am going to give you all is to shop early. I mean it, shop early. Yes, start shopping for the little things, but more specifically, I want you to start looking for your gown. I remember that I went out to the store and I bought all these magazines that at the end, just a couple weeks ago, I threw them all out because I didn't know what to do with them. I'm trying to think why I decided to do that when we have the internet. I mean, Pinterest has a lot of ideas. Google, Instagram. I don't know. I guess I just always pictured myself going out to go buy all these magazines and then tearing, ideas apart from the magazine and putting it into a binder, and then just pretty much have like this whole storyboard of how I wanted my day to look. I got married at the beginning of October, so I really wanted to do something kind of fall-ish where I wanted like a long sleeve. And so when my mother got married, she had a long sleeve dress, and so I really liked it, and I kind of wanted to recreate that. I liked the idea, so I had that in mind. And I also wanted something maybe like off the shoulder. I didn't want anything strapless because my little friends up here they need some support, and so strapless just never really works out for me. I think that those were my top choices. And so some of these dresses that I had in my binder, did reflect the whole long sleeve and off the shoulder, but it's very different once you start going into the store and start looking and trying on things. It's great for you to have some sort of an idea of what you want to go shop for when it's your turn to go into your appointment. But I just want to give you guys a heads up that sometimes the image that you have going in, it's not going to be quite that what you find at the store or what you end up liking, Again, I just want to let you know to shop early. And the reason why I say this is because from my own personal experience, I waited until I think it was 5 months, maybe even 4. I was cutting it super close, and I don't know why. I'm trying to think as to why I let it happen. I think I was just so excited about all the other little things that my dress I kept delaying it. I remember the ladies going like, when are you getting married? I'll be like, oh, in October. They're like, you need to like get your dress. You need to pick it out. You need to pick something that you like. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, no, I want to, keep shopping. And so I felt a little bit rushed. That definitely is something that I didn't like. Now that I'm thinking about it, it was very, very stressful. So please shop early for your gown. Start looking at places maybe around your neighborhood and some outside. Just look everywhere. What you don't want is to feel super rushed. Pick the first dress that they tell you, oh, this looks nice on you, or the first dress that you're like, oh, maybe this can work out, and then not be happy on what you're wearing. So I feel very confident enough to say to shop maybe as soon as you get engaged or as soon as you plan to get married. So moving on to the second thing that I want to bring up is to start making appointments. Do not, I'm going to say this again, do not be a walk-in customer, because I promise you, you are not going to get the attention that you want. A lot of people that go into these places already have appointments. Most likely every worker is assigned to a bride, and you're either just going to be waiting there until it's your turn, or they're just simply going to tell you, sorry, we can't help you today. Please make an appointment with us. Time is super precious, so I'm just letting you guys know that the best way to get the best experience is for you to have an appointment. And the beautiful thing about the internet now is that you can literally just Google the place and make the appointment online. You don't even need to go in and make it in person or even give them a phone call. But if that's something that you would like to do, I mean, of course, it'll work. So make your appointments. Also keep in mind that weekends are always the busiest. So if you kind of didn't want to be around a lot of people, then maybe during the week would be best. Now, before you go into your appointment, I want you to think, who do you want to be there when you're trying on these dresses? I, for example, made the decision to take my parents. I took no one else. Yes, I had bridesmaids. Yes, I had a maid of honor, but that was just a personal choice. I truly believe that the people who are going to give you the best honest opinion of what looks nice on you, or to help you guide you through this process, is someone that is very, very close to you, who knows you super well, and someone that is, well, not going to lie to you. Now, I am not saying by all means that the people that I chose to be in my court would lie to me. I just felt more comfortable with just taking my parents and just having it to be a surprise for everybody else. Now, no matter who you take and no matter what they suggest or what they say looks best on you, if you don't feel comfortable with what you're wearing, if you are not 100% on the way that something looks on you, then don't get it. Just simply don't. Keep trying, keep looking. Keep in mind that this is just a once in a lifetime experience, or maybe it will be a repeated experience for some of you, but it doesn't matter. It still doesn't take away the fact that you should feel beautiful, you should feel confident, and you should feel super comfortable with what you're wearing, because it's not going to be an hour thing and then just goodbye dress. Seriously, like an all-day event. Just think about, again, who do you want next to you when you are trying on your dress? Think about it. Next thing I want to say is a suggestion, and this is to be super open-minded. Be open-minded when you are looking through the racks and the racks of gowns. Like I said, even if you have an idea of what you want beforehand, what you sometimes find at the store will not be exactly what you wanted. However, try on everything. Try on different styles. I wasn't looking at strapless dresses. However, I did try some of those on because I wanted to see how they fit. Maybe they would convince me. I mean, I don't know. I just really wanted to try on everything because I wanted to make sure that what I wore was something that I truly wanted. I tried on different styles because sometimes, I mean, what you least expect to like is sometimes what you most like or what looks best on you. So just be open-minded, try on everything, even if there's styles that you're like, this is not something that I want. I know it definitely happened to me. There were a couple big gowns. It almost looked like quinceañera dresses that I was like, no, I don't want this, because I already had a quinceañera. I had a poofy dress. And so it's not something that I kind of wanted to redo for my wedding. However, when I tried them on, they looked really nice. And there was one that I was like, oh my gosh, this looks beautiful. And I pretty much kept it on the side the whole time. I was like, I don't know, but I just kept trying things on. And at the end, well, I didn't choose that, but like I said, it's something that I didn't want, and at the end it was something I was kind of like, maybe this can be the one. There are different designers, there are different styles, and another thing is that there are different prices. And it is super important for you to have an idea of how much you want to spend. Go in with a budget. If you don't want to spend more than $1,500 on a dress or more than $2,000, whatever it is, because the person that assists you when you go into these appointments, they're going to ask you. It's one of the very first questions that they ask. What kind of dress are you looking for? What is your budget? And they will show you around. However, just do keep in mind that that place that you're going into probably doesn't have the dress you are looking for. So for example, the very first place that I went to was David's Bridal, and I didn't have the best experience. Honestly, it was not good. I'll be mentioning a couple reasons as to why, but one of the first things that happened to me was that they didn't have any long sleeve dresses. It was something that I really wanted to. There were a lot of dresses that did fit my budget, but the style wasn't there. However, like I said, I tried on a bunch of stuff. Now, although I did have a budget, I did look at other gowns that were outside of my budget, and I don't know if I want to recommend it to you guys, because sometimes it can happen that you can really fall in love with a dress that simply isn't what you want to purchase because it's just incredibly too expensive, or whatever the reason it can be. And it can really break your heart in a way. And so, see, for example, I'm the type of person that doesn't like to get super excited about something knowing well that it's not something that is going to happen or something that I am going to get. And I was very content with the amount that I was going to spend. However, I don't know, I was just very curious. I wanted to see what else there was, and so yes, I did look at probably one or two gowns outside of my budget, and yes, they were very beautiful. I have nothing bad to say about them. However, I just feel like it would have been a little bit too much. It's something that I didn't want to spend more on. There were a lot of other things that I still wanted to get, and so I just pretty much said, you know what, no, I'm gonna stick to my budget and use that money for other things that I want to purchase. I'm gonna leave it up to you if you want to just risk it and take a look and possibly fall in love knowing that you're not gonna get that, but it's not really gonna break your heart. Then go for it. Now, this next thing that I'm going to say is super incredibly important. Hopefully you already have the shoes that you want to wear, so take them to your appointment. So when you try on the dress, you have an idea of how it's going to look. It's just super important. I remember I was in flip-flops, and so they let me borrow some of the shoes that they had there, and I don't know, I don't know, I just didn't feel as comfortable because a lot of them were like whitish beige kind of color, and so you can already see the toes, like the markings, like, oh my gosh, I don't know, it's so disgusting. Something I really didn't feel comfortable with, but I don't know what, just something in my brain's like, just try them on, and so I did, and I don't know, I just don't recommend it. Just take your own shoes, or at least take some sort of heel or whatever shoe you're going to wear that you think that you want to go with. Take those, because I promise you that then you will feel a lot more comfortable. And now also take different bras. Take a strapless one, take a nude color, take maybe one of those like sticky ones that kind of stick here on the side. You will be thanking yourself later, because I know, for example, that I struggled a lot with that. when I went in, they didn't have the size that I wear. They had just a couple sizes, and so it was just very uncomfortable for me. And I just wish that someone could have told me, just take your own bra, take your own shoes, and it's just something that I found out, and so hopefully it's super helpful to one of you. The next two things that I am going to share are also super important because the person who is going to be helping you will be in the dressing room with you at certain points during your appointment. You are definitely going to need help trying to zip up or trying to tie whatever is in the back or on the side, and the person is gonna walk in there, and so just keep that in mind. And although, for example, my mother was with me, the lady was just pretty much going in there and didn't really let my mom, help me. She was kind of like, okay, like, let me try this. And that leads me to say to wear certain underwear and bras that you are comfortable with, because I remember when I went to mine, I wasn't wearing how can I say those? I just wish I had a regular bikini style underwear. Again, I thought that I was just gonna, fit into my dress and, without anyone's help. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought my mom would have probably helped me out, but that wasn't the case. The girl that was helping me out at David's Bridal was just super friendly, and she was just like, oh, no, don't worry about it. Like, they don't even pay attention. They see so many different people. They don't even look at you. They don't really care. I felt uncomfortable. I really did feel uncomfortable, and so I learned. And so the next time that I went somewhere else to look for gowns, I made sure that I wore something that I was more comfortable with. Another thing that is super important for you to take is faja. I don't know how you say this in English. Like a waist trainer or something, one of those like body shaping, molding undergarments. Take them with you. Take different multiple styles if that is something that you think you want to wear on the day of. Because I know that there was this one dress where they made me try on it almost looked like a waist trainer, and it just wasn't helping. It just made me look even more awkward. So just no. I'm going to say this again. I promise you, is just going to make this whole experience a lot better for you. So something that was very, very surprising to me was that there were a lot of workers didn't have any sort of experience. So I know that I keep talking about David's Bridal, but again, that one was my worst experience. So that's why I'm bringing this place up. The girl who was assisting me was younger than me. She was probably 18 at most. And I remember I was very, very uncomfortable because I really, really wanted someone who had more experience working with brides and someone to give me tips and suggestions of what they've seen. I don't know. I just didn't feel comfortable that she was super, super young. I felt like she kind of was just trying to get me into dresses and kind of just wanting me to purchase something at the end. She was kind of like, oh, so which one do you think you'd want to take? She was just very, very robotic in a way, but I don't know how else to explain it. She was very, very friendly. I almost feel bad saying this, but like I said, she just didn't really have much experience as a first-time bride and not knowing too much, just walking in there pretty much clueless. And she was kind of it almost seemed like she was new. The pair wasn't working out. It just wasn't working out. My big suggestion is, if you go into a place and you don't feel comfortable with the person who is taking care of you, either ask the manager or ask someone there if they can possibly pair you up with someone different, or just simply don't say anything and make another appointment another time and make sure that you get the person's name so that you can maybe put into the comment section below to not pair you with that person, and hopefully you get someone else that is a little bit more experienced and that can help you out more. Now, another thing that very, very, very much surprised me is the fact that you are not going to find the correct size of dress on the day of your appointment. Either they're going to be super, super big, 4 or 5 times bigger than your size, or super, super small, 1 or 2 sizes smaller. And you are not going to be the size dress that you currently are. For example, if you are a size 6 in dress, when you go shopping for your wedding dress, you are not going to be a size 6. If you are a size 10, you're not going to be a size 10. No matter what size you are, you just aren't going to be that size when you go in. At the time, I was a size 10 in dress. So when I went in, they asked me, what size dress are you? And I was like, oh, I was a 10. She's like, okay, so I'm going to bring you out some 14s and 16s. I was like, 14, 16. Well, how to feel? I want to say I was a little bit offended. Like, did she not hear me? I said I was a 10. I mean, no, they are certainly correct. I don't know what it is. I think they just have like a different size chart. I'm just preparing you guys because I'm sure you guys are going to probably freak out or just be very, very shocked like I was. So just know that it's okay. And honestly, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter what size dress you are, as long as it fits you perfect the way that it's supposed to fit. Now, I remember that some of the very, very big gowns that I tried on, there was no way for them to like tie it or like zip it up. They literally used like these clamps. It almost looked like some of these, I mean, this is for the hair, but they used some that, I don't know, I think my husband has some, like when he puts up like backdrops for pictures. And so I know that in the back, I had like a row of like 5 or 6 clamps. It was ridiculous, but it's something that they're probably going to do if they don't find a dress that is close to your size. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. I mean, it's pretty normal. I know I wasn't the first one that went through that, but I just want to give you guys a heads up. Now, when you pick your dress and you say, this is the one, know that they are going to suggest to you what size dress you should buy. And they're always going to tell you to size up. Size up 1 or 2 sizes, because you never know, even though you probably want to lose weight or whatever it is, they're going to tell you that you don't know, that you should just size up just to be on the safe side, which, I mean, makes sense. For example, wanted to like lose weight, and I know it didn't happen. And me, when I stress out, I tend to eat. And there are a lot of people very, very opposite, where they just don't get hungry when they're super stressed. I'm not that type of person. I wish I was, but I just tend to just munch on chips and candy and just all the bad stuff. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and lie. At the end of the day, do what you feel is best. I really don't suggest for you to size down, because I feel like that's a lot of pressure. At least I feel like it would be a lot of pressure on myself. So I wouldn't suggest that. But if that's something that you want to do whatever makes you happy. I can't remember. I think I did size up just in case, because I was a lost puppy. And so when they told me you should size up, I was like, okay, I'll size up. I'll size up. The next thing I want to talk about is alterations. Alterations are normally not something that's included with the price of your gown. Normally, all of these big stores do have a person who alters dresses, and they are there not every day. They are there on certain days. Once your dress comes in, they will set up an appointment with you and the seamstress. That person will then take it from there, jotting down your sizes, and they'll also be putting pins everywhere of where they think they need to cut. Alterations can be pretty pricey, and normally they will always be a lot more pricier if you do it inside of the store. It is definitely not mandatory for you to get the alterations inside of the store. However, I just feel like it's a lot more convenient in a way, because the person who will be doing your dress most likely have probably already worked with it and another person, and so they just kind of already know the material and they know what's best. However, it's not always the case. I'm going to talk about my story. I did end up having a long sleeve dress, and I will insert a picture here so that you guys can see. The material on my sleeve was very, very sheer, very, very thin. As you guys can see, it is like see-through. And the lady did alter a lot of that together, because it was very, very loose on this section. However, I didn't think it was tight enough. And so I remember going in 2 times. The first time she grabbed some of that material in and it fit okay, but when I would go like this, you can still see some of that material hanging, and I really didn't like it. And I did bring it up to her. I'm like, is there any way that you can possibly, make it a little bit tighter? And so she's like, yeah, I can probably do that. So she did. And so when I went in for my second appointment, it looked a lot better, but still it wasn't super, super fitted. And I did say I really, really wanted to be a lot more fit throughout my whole arm. And she's like, well, I wouldn't recommend that simply because the material is like super, super thin. And so if I do that where it is like literally stuck to you, any little movement that you do, or if you're like reaching out, or if you're like dancing and something happens where you stretch out a little bit too much, what can happen is that it can rip, and you don't want to be walking around your wedding day with like a ripped dress, which does make sense. And I really, really do appreciate her suggestion. However, I wasn't 100% happy at the end, because in pictures, I felt like I kind of had to grab some of the material like right here, like under my pinky, because I really wanted that fitted look. And so, I don't know, it's just something that I just wish I could have just told her, you know what? Just do it. Like, at the end of the day, I want you guys to remember that you are paying for this service. It is not free. So be happy with it. Be happy with every single alteration. Be happy with everything, because again, I don't know how else to express this, but it's your wedding day and everyone's going to be looking at you, and a bunch of pictures will be taken of you, and you're going to have to sit there for many, many years looking at them, and you're just going to think back like, oh my gosh, I should have probably done this, or I should have spoke up, I should have said this, I should have done this. And so yes, not everything is going to be picture perfect, but if you can get close to it, if you can possibly make decisions on the spot before it's too late, why not do it? And so, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I really don't want to make this video any much longer. I just really hope that the things that I mentioned today are super helpful for you. I had a blast. If I can go back in time, I just want to relive my whole wedding again. It doesn't even matter what dress I'm wearing. It doesn't matter about anything. I just want to live back the moment and the memories that were created that night. Good times. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget that if you like this video, to give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and let me know in the comments below if you are a bride-to-be or what you thought about this video, and if there is something else that you would also want to hear from me in regards to weddings or anything else. I love you guys. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!